What up, guys? Jason Guyman here, and we have a special guest on. I've had him on before. Everybody loves when he's on, and we're gonna talk a little bit about 3 ways of growing a pressure washing business and Christmas light, kind of the whole thing around of what we need to do to be able to grow, be successful, be profitable, not just successful, but profitable. A lot of times people don't always get that profitable side of things. And so we're going to just have a conversation here of what Donovan can do, what he did this past year, what his goal is next year or 2021, and just some things of what can somebody do to get started. What are the things that help you grow your business? What are the things that what is the things that get you to the next level? What are some things of getting off the truck? What are some things of building a shop? He got him a new shop here. So Donovan, tell me a little bit about yourself for the people that may not know who you
I think
are.
Al's calling you big head and I'm small head. So
Yeah.
that's the nicer of the names that I've been called while I'm on here.
And
Um,
Al, I can't even say what Al's name is. So
Al's name is- what question did you ask me? Who I am? What do I do? Stuff like that.
yeah, just who
Um,
are you, where you're from, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. My name is Donovan Quensenberry. I started a window cleaning business when I was in high school about 15 years ago. I got it. When you get interested in women, find out you got to have a little bit of money. So I decided to basically do window cleaning. Once I graduated, I was like, jobs suck. I'll just stay in business for myself. Um, kind of put it on cruise control for a while. And a few years, hey, what's going on, Reggie? Um, and a few years ago, I got serious about actually growing my business. That happens right around the time you start having kids. So, happily married, have a beautiful 3-year-old daughter. I got a 6-month-old son. His name is Donovan Watts Quensenberry the fifth. So he has the family name, and we're in a growth mode. So we had a pretty good goal last year, and this year we're like doubling, tripling down, growing like crazy, and doing a lot of gutter cleaning, do a lot of window cleaning, or not a lot of window cleaning, doing a lot of power washing, and obviously, hanging a bunch of Christmas lights as well.
Cool. So did the business just start flowing in? Is that how it works?
Um, no, not really, but I think one thing that's really important for people who are on YouTube or online to realize, like when you get advice, is like what people's circumstances were. So for me, like it took years for me to actually get substantial income, but the little bit that I had, like I'm in high school, right? So it didn't matter to me if I only did $10,000 in business. Like it wasn't that big of a deal. And so, some folks on here, maybe they got a full-time job, and if they go out in a weekend and they work 2 days and make $1,000, like that could be like what they made at their job the whole week. So everybody's circumstances a little differently. I was slow. Let's be honest. I've been in business for 15 years, and we just hit $1 million. I know some people who, freaking Grant Cardone has a video series right now, Undercover Billionaire, where he went to a new city with $100 and in 30 days grew $1 million business in 90 days.
And
So
then
Grant
we,
Cardone can do it in 90 days. It took me 15 years. Everybody's a little different. I'm slow and I like to learn lessons the hard way. So
and
it's
so
going to
let's
take me
talk
long.
about that because that's when you first started. How did you actually get business? What was the best way that you got business 15 years ago, all the way up to probably about 2 or 3 years ago?
All right. So these little flyers right here, you take them, you print them off piece of paper, and you roll it up like that, right? And then you take a rubber band and you put it around there, and then you drive around a neighborhood and throw these things out the window, and shit goes everywhere. and sometimes it would stay by the mailbox and somebody would call me and I'd go clean their windows.
And you was also a big fan of yard signs too, aren't you?
I'm a big fan of yard signs now. So, I would get those flyers and put business cards everywhere. And I did that like just, you do 1,000 of these, you'll get 2 calls or what, I just did it. I learned the hard way. So I did that for a long time and I grew really slow at a snail's pace. Now we're doing a lot of stuff with Facebook. I'm a huge, huge, huge fan of yard signs. We're moving to branding now, not necessarily just the bandit signs, but we do use both. We do magnetic business cards. We do Facebook stuff, Google ads, all that good stuff that real businesses do.
And this is something that a lot of people don't do right here. And I'm going to hit on this because you are the master king of networking. Networking is a great way of building business. And I'm not talking about word of mouth. This really isn't word of mouth. This is networking. Networking with other businesses, other business owners. You do it through a Facebook group that you network through there. And networking, it can be king. And like I say, this is not the regular word of mouth. This is, you know, we meet together, we help each other, and we can all grow together. Tell me a little bit how you got started with the networking side of things.
Well, I like to interact and surround myself with other people who are going places. And so networking it was natural for me. I didn't have to go out of my way to meet somebody. It's like if I'm driving down the road and I see that there's a landscaper in the same neighborhood that I got 20 clients, you know, I'm going to stop and I'm say, hey man, do you own this business? Yeah, definitely. You say, well, I clean gutters. Do you? No. He's like, no, I don't like ladders. I said, well, here's my business card. And I know if I get clients in this neighborhood, are you looking to grow your business as well? I'd love more clients in this neighborhood for cutting grass. We swap cards. If his client asks about gutter cleaning, there you go. And if my client asks about landscaping, I cannot cut straight lines in grass. I don't have that ability. So he gets their business card. You know, Reggie, the guy who brought it up, he's a power washer right here in my city. You know, if I can't, I got several power washers that maybe I'm busy cleaning gutters or maybe I'm busy, you know, hanging Christmas lights or something like that. And the client needs something power washed. I want them to go through me. So I'm like, hey, Reggie, don't steal my client. Go do this job for me. And awesome. Same thing when he's busy or if he needs help maybe on a huge job or maybe his truck breaks down and I got an extra one. Like we can network back and forth. It's not just like what puts money in my pocket, but it's more like the way that it's going to work best is like being a good, you know, not a parasitic relationship, but a symbiotic relationship. That's what's worked really well for me. And I saw somebody before asked about, do I ask for permission for yard signs? No, I don't. I just put them in the yard. And if a client calls me and says, hey, I don't like them, I say, okay, they're disposable, chuck it in the bin. So no, I don't ask permission for yard signs.
And I want to talk a little bit also about networking because you also said something that is very important. You get around people that where you want to be at. You don't, you know, that is very, very important. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. If you want to go somewhere, you need to go find the people where you want to be at. Don't go find somebody that just started the business last week and is good talking. Go find out where you've been at to $1 million, and them are the people I want to go. So you're already at $1 million. So now you're going to go look for that person that is $2, $3, $4 million. So that way you can learn from those people. Is that not true with networking also, correct?
Yeah, definitely. So you and I put on a training class last, I don't know, September, October, something like that. Mm-hmm. The building that we had it at is Vortex. So he owns a big power washing company. He focuses on commercial stuff. So they do a lot of commercial gutter cleaning, a lot of commercial power washing, and big commercial. They actually got a huge, big commercial Christmas light job as well, which is over a mile stretch. It was a real big job. And so just networking with him, you know, I'm able to network with somebody who does have a 7-figure business. We helped each other out with the class. I send people his direction for building rigs and stuff like that. And he sends clients my direction too all the time. So that's somebody that like he can open bigger doors. Same thing for me. So, you know, and he loves talking to me because I have thousands of clients. He might have 500 clients on his list and I got 10,000 clients on my list. So, you know, there's definitely different levels that I network with someone. And basically like what I've learned here's a tip. If somebody really wants to learn about networking, don't assume anything about the other person. Get all your information directly from them. And what I mean by that is if somebody tells me that Jason's the best guy in the world, I'm going to go into that thinking, all right, Jason's the best guy in the world. But then I'm going to look at his actions and see if it lines up. And the moment that it doesn't, I'm not going to keep projecting Jason's the best guy in the world. I'm going to put him in the box that he's already in. right? So if this guy's, if Jason's really good at power washing, I'll use him for power washing. But if he's not good at gutter cleaning, I'm not going to use him for that, right? So I'm not going to project me onto him. I'm going to use him for him. So.
Perfect. And I think that this is something that don't get used a lot, and the side of people are afraid to talk to the network. And there's several different ways to network. Obviously, we had talked about, on the in-person side, which is a great way to network. I'm not going to dog it at all. I agree with it 100%. If it is used right, you can grow your business very big, very successful. The other way, obviously, is LinkedIn. That's kind of my thing that I've been pushing a little bit because it is a networking social media platform. It isn't just another social media platform. It is a networking social media platform of seeing other like-minded business owners and people that have money and stuff like that. And that is a way that we can use that to help grow. And networking is one that it does take work. It is a two-way street. It isn't all about just give or just take. Because if you just take, people will see that. And you know what? They're not going to give you nothing ever again, because if you're not ever giving back to them, they're not going to give to you in the first place.
Definitely. So about LinkedIn, can I go on there and post all my Trump and Biden memes on LinkedIn? Is that what that social media is for?
No, that gets pretty knocked down pretty fast there. You will see a few, and every time you see Trump or any Biden, anything that's political, they will hammer you saying that this is not a political area to post that stuff.
Oh, good for them.
That's just a good place to keep it on Facebook and TikTok and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, keep all the trash on Facebook. Makes sense. Hey, well, about Facebook. So, a lot of us do get heated about political stuff or religious stuff, or our favorite, what Daenerys is doing with her dragon this week or whatever. And I think it's real easy to get distracted on Facebook. But I found some really cool ways to network on Facebook using targeted groups. So, probably a bunch of us are part of like power washing, blah, 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 gutter cleaning, this and that, Christmas lights, this, that are like business communities. And that's great for me, maybe meeting some other people, but I've even found those might be a little bit of a waste of time. You're not going to make any money off those. But if folks go and find local community groups, maybe like the name of a neighborhood or the name of your county information page, or the like Wake County buy sell trade, which is a trading page, like a yard sale page. If you if you go into those groups and you network with like-minded business owners in those groups, when a homeowner asks, hey, do you know anybody who cuts grass? And you have a network of 4 or 5 different business owners, and you all recommend the best grass cutting guy who's active on Facebook, then when somebody goes and asks about, gutter cleaning, I can have a group of 3 or 4 or 5 like-minded, active business owners recommending my business as well, and then other clients will jump on there. So there's definitely a way to like get around all the BS, and you can network with like-minded business owners in these local community groups and actually turn that wasted, 3 hours of just scrolling through Facebook into productive time actually getting jobs. Yeah, and that's a great way to find
but Donovan, when I'm in them Facebook groups of pressure washing and I'm arguing over should I soft wash or should I XJet or should I I get way more stuff done by doing that kind of stuff. And I mean, I can spend 2, 3, 4 hours every day pissing and moaning with everybody saying that my way's better, and that I mean that fulfills me way more, Donovan.
Yeah. So we're trained by this thing, right? Every time we get that little notification that hops on here, a little ding, right? We just stop and we want to look at it. Just make sure that you're guarding your mind. Like, and here's the other thing. Like, let's go back to the very first thing I said tonight, which was, where are you at in your business? When I'm in 2005 or whenever I started my business in high school, okay, it doesn't matter if I spend half my time just BSing around on Facebook and maybe I get one new customer or something like that. But now that I'm actually I got this office and I'm trying to grow my business, I just don't want to waste my time with all that. So, but there's people like that here tonight on the live. Like there's some people that are like just here to hang out and have a good time, and they'll get one or two tips. And like sincerely, Jason, I think you'll agree to this too. Like we love having you guys on here. We hope you have a good time. Like we like joking around too. But then there's some other guys on here who maybe they just got laid off from their job, and like they are laser focused on growing their business. Like they don't want all the BS, they want to come here, read comments, listen to Jason and I, and get the gold nuggets. And they're taking notes on this live, and they're going to get 50 things more than just the guy who's here goofing off, even though, you both had the same opportunity. And it's perfectly fine. Whatever somebody wants to do, like go for it. Like, rock on with your big bad self. It's just, what are your goals? If your goals are to grow, then grow.
And I want to hit on that because this is very important. You only get 168 hours a week. That's all you get. And that's one thing that you cannot get back is time. Time is one thing that you will never get back. Before you know it, you're 30 like Donovan, and after that, you're 40 like myself. I just had a birthday the other day, and so I'm 41. And, time is one thing that you cannot get. And this is something that if you really want to grow your business, you really want to get to the next level, I'm going to tell you some things that you can do that will save you time. First thing, go in your phone and turn off all notifications, because this right here is the biggest time suck and the biggest waste of time for no reason at all, period. Unless you're getting job quotes and you're not getting them that often, this is the biggest time suck at all times. This is something that will not grow your business. This right here will not grow your business. Now, what will grow your business? Figuring out things, posting and learning what you need to do, figuring out what you got to do to get to the next level, learning from smart people, all of those things can learn. I've had a bad habit, and you know what I do when I get in a bad habit of this thing really being a time suck? I delete the apps. I delete Facebook. I delete every app that I know is a time suck, that I'm not going to make any money off of it because I'm on that app and it's a time suck. There's many times that I delete the Facebook app so that I don't waste time, because you know how you want to know how much time you waste on it? Go into your settings and see how long you've been on that app, on Facebook, on other apps. And if it's not time that you're putting toward your business, that you're not, figuring out, what do I need to do to get to the next level, it does you no good at the end of the day, period. That is not what's going to grow your business. People that are successful, that most people that I know that are very successful aren't even on Facebook, aren't even on anything social media. Their goal is to get off this thing 100%. The people that I know.
And if you got video games on this thing that your Clash of Clans or whatever it is, and you find yourself checking that game, a couple of times a day, delete it, right? Video games. And if you want to do video games, all right, when you're sitting on the toilet for 5 minutes, you can play a video game. The rest of the time, you don't need to be on your phone playing video games. So, guard your time, because you could be spending that time on LinkedIn making some connections. Kyle asked about the cost of a yard sign versus Google ads. Kyle, what I will say is this is one thing that we're going to go over in our training in a month. I know a couple people mentioned it, but on Saturday, we're doing nothing. Marketing is going to be a huge part of what we're doing on Saturday. And there's different marketing that works that you're going to get a higher return for in different situations. So a lot of folks, they're stuck with just Google ads, or they're stuck with me, like just doing flyers or just doing signs. There's ways that those in certain scenarios, you're going to capture a different market. So we're going to go over all that. Jason has videos on all that, but I'll just say, there's some people who will never call you off of a Google ad. And then there's other clients who will never call you off of a yard sign just because of how you're presenting your information. So there's definitely, I want to say you want to do a healthy mix to capture different people, or just find the one that works the best and stick to that. So.
No, and I agree on that. That's one thing that, some people will, yard signs, honestly, I started my business out of yard signs, and then I really grew it through AdWords. And, but I did a lot of testing. I did a lot of, I ran both for a long time. And even at the end, I still did yard signs. I didn't, a lot of times people will just pick one thing and get into that rut of, well, this works. And I agree. If it works, I'll say if you throw mud on the wall, see what sticks. If it sticks, then keep throwing mud on that wall to keep it going, But at some time, you don't always want to put all your eggs in one basket, because all it takes is a Google slap or something stupid like that. And now you put all our eggs in one basket. Or maybe you do signs, and that's all you've done is signs. And then the city's going to start fining you for every sign. Well, guess what? You better figure out another way to get business, or you're going to go out of business.
Jason, I got a question for you. So I just got this new, I got this new shop, and we're looking to grow, a bunch more crews this year and stuff like that. What was like the biggest, what was the biggest thing for you that had you make that jump between 1 or 2 trucks and then like the most trucks that you ran for your shop? Like, what for you was that one thing that was like fuel on the fire? Because that's where I'm at right now.
So you're asking what to go to the next, to get to the next trucks? So
yeah. So what adding fuel to the fire? What was it for you?
So AdWords is what really got the phone to ring. And once we were out 4 weeks, we started putting more trucks on the road, because then once you're out that far, you're losing business. That's just the way it is. That's just part of the thing that, really, if you're out more than 2 weeks, you're probably going to start losing business. And so, we're spending $3,000-4,000 a month in AdWords. And so, not to lose money, we had to add other trucks onto the business, so that way we can keep growing at that point. Does that make sense?
How many people did you have in the office at that point?
At that point, we only had 2 people in the office. So, and then after I sold it, it was actually less than that. But before I sold it, there was one person answering the phone. She answered the phone all the time. And then I did a lot of the marketing, and then we had a sales guy.
Okay. A full-time sales guy did nothing but sales?
And he did mostly commercial stuff. So he was out to get the commercial side of things. That was the commercial side of things, so that way, the commercial. And because most of the time, if we needed to bid something, the lady on the phone could figure out most of that, unless it was just something, then they would come ask questions.
Yeah. So all your residential stuff, you did all that online pretty much?
Every bit of that online, every bit of it. And that's how you're doing it now, isn't it? Or
yeah, we're doing everything. So our gutter cleaning, our power washing, everything, even our Christmas lights. We're doing a $10,000-15,000 Christmas light job. It's all online. So, I think the cool thing is like with the CRM systems that are out there, I love Jobber. Everybody who knows me knows that I love Jobber. They're a Canadian-based company. They just got amazing customer service. But we can put all the client's information into our system and take photos, all that stuff, generate a work request, transition it to a job. I can assign it to different field techs. We can track where everybody's at in real time, take payments through Jobber. And even one thing that we're doing with our Christmas light business is that jobs, we're going back in these big reoccurring jobs, even for our power washing, gutter cleaning, the people who haven't done more often, and then our big Christmas light jobs. We're putting all these people on a reoccurring plan where they're paying us monthly, and we're doing 1, 2, 3, 4 visits a year for power washing, or a visit in December for Christmas lights. But I'm getting all my money now, which is helping us quite a bit for the new shop. It's something that I'm really like doing. And the cool thing about Jobber is that they'll automatically generate the invoice, and they'll automatically charge the credit card that's on file.
So that's happening every month, correct? So you're doing a monthly membership for the house washing, the gutter cleaning, the Christmas lights, the whole 9 yards. So now you can even upsell more. And even when Christmas light comes, if they want to buy more, then hey, it's going to cost you so much more, even though you paid us all year long. And the beautiful thing about reoccurring money coming in like that, if you get enough of that money coming in, then it will
pays for the shop.
It not only pays for the shop, but if you get enough of that coming in, it also pays for the guys and stuff like that. So when we get these big commercial jobs, And you haven't even really pushed a lot for the commercial jobs, have you? You've done mostly all residential. So when you start pushing for the commercial side of things, then you're not sitting on a lot of money and worried about paying out your guys because, oh my God, I'm sitting. I mean, I remember months being
Net 30, net 60.
having
Yeah.
70, $80,000 out in in accounts of receivables, and you're like, I got to pay my guys this week, and there isn't a lot of money out there. So it does happen, and so these are some things you got to look at to make sure that you don't get out of hand to keeping it coming.
Yeah, and I will say, like, it's something that we tested out a little bit last year, but we're pushing it really hard now. And I think it's really important that you don't screw over your client, which means that you need to be really well organized. If you're taking somebody's money in advance, like, you better perform when it comes time to perform. Because right now, with all my one-off jobs, it's like, hey, the clients pay at the time of service, which is like when they're happy. But if somebody's paying you in advance, then you better perform. So I would not recommend that for like a brand new person. But if for me, that now that I got to shop and cruise and payroll and blah, 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 like, we know that we're going to be in business. We know that we can do it. It's nice to have that ongoing, income. And then also, if I ever go to sell the business, it's like, yeah, we got $1 million rolling in, people basically already paying us. That's a lot more valuable of a business than, yeah, we got $20,000-$30,000 worth of one-off jobs this month, and we don't know how many we're going to have next month.
Yeah,
So,
if you went to sell a business and you have $1 million doing that, you would be able to sell that business for $10 million. If you did $1 million in business and don't have that, you might get $300,000-$400,000 out of it.
maybe.
That's what
Maybe.
you're going to get, and it comes down to that
Yeah,
reoccurring
the
money.
equipment.
Yeah, because the equipment isn't worth crap at the end of the day. And then I had another question I hear after. Jason, how long before you had an office outside your home? I was at about 2.5 years before I got an office, and that was when I started hiring people. That's when my wife didn't want people at the house and dealing with employees and all of that kind of stuff. And at the time that I did it, it was actually when Michael Kreisley was in business, and he actually had a motorcycle stolen out of his basement from one of his employees. So, there's a reason why I don't want employees here. And the other reason is I had all them stupid chemicals here, and I had 2 kids, and it can get very dangerous if you're not careful.
Yeah.
And you've been in business for 10 years, and you just got a shop, correct?
Yeah, I've had locations outside of the house, but it hasn't all been centralized. It's been like, a little building over here, storage unit over here, a truck at this guy's house, or something in this rental house over here. It hasn't been professional.
And you did work out of, and this is something that I know a lot of people that do this, and it actually does work pretty good, is working out of a rental place or a
Storage unit.
a storage unit, and that works.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people do this. There's storage units that around here that are big enough that they pull their trucks in and everything. So it's way cheaper than having a shop. And at the end of the day, a shop isn't everything. Obviously, it is nice to have it. It is nice to. I think if you're really going to want to grow, that is something that you got to do. And that comes back down to what do you want? Do you want to grow, or do you want to be a 1-2 man and do Donovan's done almost $1 million or did over $1 million this year with what you have 3-4 people with you.
3 including me. Yeah, a couple of part-time people.
So this is something that, it is something that you can do to get to that.
Do I own rentals? Yes. Yes, I do. How do you get employees? Be amazing. Don't be a jerk. Would you work for yourself?
Yeah, them were some good questions. And it isn't easy to get employees, and you're going to get duds, and you're gonna hate having them, and they're going to be a pain in the neck sometimes. But if you really want to grow and get to the next level, that is what you have to do. And to be honest, I think as the, I was talking to somebody, my wife, her niece is babysitting some kids, and they believe the way the kids are being raised today, it's going to be tough in 5-10 years to be able to get anything done because they're not taught wrong from right. because
Yeah.
what is wrong from right to, that kind of goes down to different beliefs and stuff like that. So they got a kid that's 6, 7 years old, lies, steals, everything, and they don't do nothing to this kid because they are atheists and they don't believe in wrong and right. And at this point, what do you do at that point? What are you going to do with these kids doing this stuff at 16, 17, 20, 25 years old? I mean, I hate to say it, but you got rules no matter where you're at. And whether you like it or not, you got rules, When I had my business, I have rules. I have a whole book telling the rules. Why? Because it is what it is, and I got to be able to grow my business and be successful at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, like raising kids. I got, my oldest is 3, so I can't talk about raising kids. But what I can talk about is like grooming employees. My longest employee's been with me for over 10 years. So even though I'm working out of my shop in a storage unit, this and that, I think that getting a good employee is like, oh my gosh, it makes your life amazing. Like for the last 10 years, I'm not exaggerating when I said I didn't have to do anything. I had money in the bank. All my bills were paid. If I wanted to work, I could go work. If I didn't, I didn't. I mean, my life was on cruise control, and I could have done that till the day I died if I wanted. And that all comes from having just a few really good employees. Now, on the flip side, you got, an 8, 7-year-old who lies and steals and blah, blah, blah. If you got an employee who does all that, I mean, you're a babysitter. You're a full-time babysitter, and you're working, it seems like, 3 times as much and getting half as done. I mean, it is miserable. And I know a guy right now, I'm not going to drop any names, but he's based out of Florida. He does about $200,000 in power washing throughout the year, and then he does about $600,000 in Christmas lights. That's less than what I did last year with 2 guys. And I think he said he has 15 employees to do that. And he wants to quit right now. A guy who he got to $1 million in business and he's ready to quit. He's like, I'm done. I'm ready to get rid of all this. He's like, I can't stand my employees. So the difference there was really like, employees. And we don't got enough time to be talking about all the nuances of hiring a really good employee. I mean, there's so much to it. But first off, like being a rock star boss is part of it, and having opportunity for these guys. Like if you know how to run an amazing business, then you can give an amazing opportunity to an amazing person. So it all builds up. There's not like one key thing. Like it all like ties together. So start with what you can control. Always be on the search for talent. And then once that talent comes by, like, your business better be ready to give them an opportunity so that you can capitalize on that talent.
No, and I agree on that 100%. And there is a difference between babysitting and having an employees and trusting and a lot of it, and obviously Donovan didn't have this, but having systems in place so that way how when you're training that person, because it comes back to the book of extreme ownership. If that person screws up, it's your fault as the business owner. It's not his fault. It's your fault. You didn't either train him right, you didn't give him the right check sheet to make sure things got done. You didn't go down the steps to make sure that he can be successful. So if he fails, then you fail him. Not the and you know what? If it takes more, here's the deal. I worked at the fire department. We had guys that were 25, 26 years old, had never touched a lawnmower, didn't know how to start a lawnmower, didn't know how to do nothing. So you're going to get these types of people come working for you that have never done anything. So you might have to break your training down to, this is how you start a power washer. This is how you check the oil. You got to check the oil every day. When you pull the dipstick out, you see the 2 dots here. It has to be at this dot. To put oil in this thing, it has to be this type of oil, and it is marked this type of oil. Yes, you have to break it down all the way down here because you don't know who you're going to hire. And you know what? Some of these guys, they can act like they can get through this and they know it, and you'll find out real fast how much they know really quickly. And these are some things that you have to do so that way you can be successful and not screw up things at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think, we were in a time, so, the last 4 years with Trump as president, like him, dislike him, that's not the point. But the economy was really, really, really good. Okay. It was so good that you could not hire anybody who was competent because they were either working for themselves and making six figures, or they were working for me and I'm paying them $60,000 a year. So you can't compete with that, right? Because an established business has already hired them. The only way you could get a brand new hire who was competent is they just happened to move to your area, and it was just luck that they happened to get in touch with you. Like, it was just a roll of the dice. So you had to get really good at hiring somebody that you trust and then teaching them every single skill. So you want to hire somebody at zero and bring them up to the level of performing and making the business profit. So we got really good at that. We got really good at that over the last few years of taking somebody brand new, putting them in training, getting them through step by step by step, and then they become a rock star. And so a two-man crew for us will bring in $500,000.
And that's I want to point out something too of what he's saying. He's not saying that they're a pressure washer and they know how to do everything. He's not saying that at all. This is where you got to find somebody that's got heart, because if they got heart and willpower, you can teach them anything. They're teachable. They'll get you to the next level. That will get you that rock star. It isn't about finding this person's good at this, because usually those are the worst employees at the end of the day, because they think they know everything and you can't tell them nothing. But if you have somebody that is willing to go and do that next thing for you, that will help you grow your business. I look back at some of my employees, and they were the ones that were the dumbest ones in the beginning, but they learned and they did it, and they were some of my best employees at the end of it. They could get stuff done and everything. And where they flawed at, it wasn't their fault. It was my fault, because I didn't teach them. I didn't make sure they knew that before they went out. I didn't do that. But once they learned it, I could, Danny was a young guy, 23, 24 years old. I could give him, no matter how much work I gave him, he'd be back at my shop at 3, 4 o'clock and would never have zero callbacks. That's what I want as an employer. That's that kind of employee I want.
I'm going to get it blown up. The wording is that complete every task with heart and soul. Like, that's what I'm looking for. And I want everybody in my organization to do that, to complete every task with heart and soul. And when you find somebody who does that for every task, good results will follow, right? So I'm not training somebody. I'm not looking for somebody who knows how to spray bleach. I'm looking for somebody who knows how to clean the truck with heart and soul, who knows how to sweep the floor with heart and soul, who knows how to learn with heart and soul. And then they are going to be a rock star at spraying bleach.
And I want to hit on something else there too, is having a positive attitude. I was talking about Trump. Even after he's gone, he's had a positive attitude. The things he said is all positive.
Sure.
That is one of the key things that I've taken away from Trump. And whether you hate him or love him or not, he is one that before he became president, all the way through he was president, and now after, he's always had a positive attitude. I mean, the whole getting kicked out and everything, even his last speech was positive and forward looking. And if you have that attitude, you will be successful. That is a guarantee. That is probably...
Well, and the next thing that he does, he'll be number one at that too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because he's positive.
Yeah. He'll be number one at that too, right? So if he goes back to real estate, if he goes back to something, he'll be number one at that too. That's who he is. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that rock star. And here's the way I learned this a while ago. Like, every dollar you pay an employee is an investment into their behavior and into them. So if you are dependent upon somebody and they think that they can slack and this and that, and you just you keep paying them every week, but you're not happy with that performance, you're investing in that behavior. So I remember there's this young kid, he's like 17, 18 years old, never drove a truck before, this and that. And, he couldn't get off his dang phone. Like, and I kept saying, I was like, listen, man, I don't care how good you are. Like, I need you to get off your phone. And if you don't do that, like, that's that. And so the next day I called him on his phone. I said, all right, tomorrow, leave the phone in your car or don't come to work. If you can't do that, then just don't come. I left it up to him, but it's like those little things. I'm not going to keep investing in that bad behavior. And I'll tell you what, when I let that kid go, I really needed help. I really needed the work. I needed him to come to work, but I'm not going to keep being a babysitter. So I would say that no matter if you're hiring a salesperson or an office lady or a field technician, like, don't be a babysitter. If it ain't working, fire them quick and move on to the next one. Yeah.
All right. So we went down rabbit holes I didn't even know we was going to go down.
Yeah, we did. I mean, but it's still kind of like, how to grow your business. I think, so I'll talk a little bit. Feel free to tell me to shut up. The steps that it took me to get from me in a Mazda Miata. No, it wasn't a Mazda. It was a Mazda Protege, little tiny coupe car with a 40-foot ladder strapped to the top, to this office building with a bunch of trucks parked out front. The first thing that I did was I became good at the job. So at one point, I don't think anybody could clean a window better than I could. I'm sure they were out there, but there was no need to do it any better than what I did. No customer would complain. So get amazing at what you're doing. Get knowledgeable about it. So that's step one. The next thing that I did was I didn't raise my pricing. So I stayed at low pricing, and I got a ton of business. And I'm going to tell you, that was a mistake. But that's what I did. And then I started hiring a bunch of people at that low pricing with no office gals. And that was another mistake because I was putting in 18-hour days, 7 days a week. I'd wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, go feed the horses, till noon. From noon till dark, I was cleaning windows and cleaning gutters. And from dark till 9, I was making phone calls. Like, it was just miserable. So then I had to scale all the way back, and I hired somebody to take care of the office stuff. That was the next smart move that I did. And then I started scaling up more on the technician side of things. So I added 2 trucks, and I had 2 trucks going all the time. And then I started raising my pricing, and that just bumped my business up even more. And then I hired more people in the office, and then I added more trucks. So now I'm getting ready to add a salesperson and doing everything legally now with taxes and payroll and insurance and blah, 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 blah. All that fun stuff. But I couldn't have done all that if I hadn't gotten somebody in the office first, then raised my pricing, then scale more crews and make sure that everything's profitable. Now it's just like wash, rinse, repeat. I know that I can handle, if I add another office lady, I can handle 2,000 more calls a year, which is 2 more guys in the field, another truck. So I can just keep duplicating it because I got all the basics taken care of. So that was sort of my journey to here in a, kind of a nutshell.
What was the hard thing about getting off the truck for you?
That wasn't hard because I'm a naturally very lazy person. That was not hard for me at all. What was tough for me was recognizing when I had a problem that needed to be fixed. Because getting off the truck for me allowed me to be lazy for 5 to 7 years, and I didn't grow my business. So getting off the truck for me was super easy. You go find 2 or 3 people that are rock stars, and if you don't have 2 or 3 people that are rock stars, go hire 4, and they'll kind of make 1 rock star. That was sort of my thing. So for me, like, hey, screw it, I don't care. I know how to get clients. They can piss off as many clients as they want. They can do jobs half-ass all they want. I'm making profit. My bills are paid. And so for me, like, getting off the truck was a little bit of a trap, just for me personally, because I didn't reset my goal. So I know that's not what a lot of people want to hear, but maybe there's somebody out there like me who's going to get complacent and lazy and not grow once they get off the truck. So,
well, and I want everybody to grow, or and it goes back to what I've said earlier. How successful do you want to be? Do you want to get to $1 million? Do you want to be at 100,000? You might only want to grow to 50,000 now as a side gig, or 50,000 even full time might be good for you. You never know. I know a lot of one-man bands that can get to $150,000, $200,000, and be very profitable, be very successful at the end of the day. Now, there's pros and cons to everything. The pro to that is you're not paying nobody, you don't have no worries, all of that kind of thing. The cons is if you get hurt, you're out of business because there's nobody else to do the work. Donovan gets hurt right now. Guess what? Money's still coming into his bank account. And so these are some important parts of looking at what's your why. Exactly. Know your why. What is your why? This is something that is very important. What is your why? And where do you want to go at the end of the day?
Well, and I think a lot of that for me really had to do with maturity because, at 18, you know everything. I think every 18-year-old guy out there knows everything that there is to know. And you can live in that dumbass state for a while. And then one day, what happened to me is like there were 3 or 4 things that I knew, like I absolutely knew were true. Like I would fight you for it and prove my point. And then I was like, these things are wrong. Like that was a real game changer for me. And I started listening to people who were more successful than me because they were more successful than me. I recognize that I'm not good at everything. And so thank God I did that a few years ago, and I put myself in a position because I tell you what, 30 rolls around and you start having this thing called back pain. And then at 31, which for me this year, I started having hip pain at 31 years old. Like how the heck at 31 years old, like can I have hip pain? Like that's a 70-year-old man problem. But, it happened at 31. So, being in this business, there's guys, we got 100 people watching. I promise you, there's some 60-year-old guys here that have to go wash a house tomorrow or their bills won't get paid. Like, and I'm not trying to be rude, but I don't want to be you, right? I want to have money in the bank and God forbid something happen and I have to go out and do it again. I will do that. But, I want a business and I want to be surrounded by, a team of good guys and ladies that we can help each other out. So that's what it was for me, really getting the 2, 3, 4 crews. This year we'll be hiring 10 new guys. So, see, Big Bob is 55 and still doing it. Good for you, man. But keep this in mind. All this stuff that I've grown my business has happened in the last 2 years. So you're 55 right now. At 57, you could be running a multiple $1-million business and be set. Like it doesn't have to take you another it doesn't have to take another 5 years. You don't have to work till you're dead. Like if you really focus, you get that laser focus and surround yourself with those good people, you could have this all changed in a year, 2 years from now, Big Bob or Big Rob. I'm sorry, Big Rob.
And this is, another thing I was going to say is working in your business. You need to be working on your business instead of in your business. And that goes back to, trusting other people that, hey, you know what, they can do it just as good as you are. And some of them can actually do it better than what you do, and I know that's hard to see. And I see some other people are, 63 in here. George is going to be at our training in coming up and he's 50. These are some things that, that you can do this while you're older. Don't get me wrong. You don't even need to do a lot of ladder work if you don't want to do ladder work because that's really hard on the knees and back and everything. I mean, you could just do soft washing, do house washing, concrete cleaning, and not even do the house, the roof cleaning, the gutter cleaning, stuff like that, and make plenty of money and be successful.
Yep, definitely.
All right, talking about that, Donovan and I are going to be having a class coming up in, when are we having it? Yeah, a month, right? A month. It is February 26th, 27th, 28th. I pinned the comment of the in-person training. On Friday, we will be doing pressure washing, in-person stuff, all about the chemicals, all about that kind of stuff. And then in the afternoon or in the morning, we'll be talking about the quoting and pricing part of pressure washing. And then we'll do the hands-on portion of it. You will actually get to pressure wash. I'm actually going to bring my trailer down. My little, actually, DJ's built it all this year, and it's perfect for what I want to bring it down. So we'll actually have two, because you have yours correct, and then I'll have this one here. It'll have water-fed pole on it, so it'll show you how to do window cleaning, exterior window cleaning, and all of that kind of thing. And then on Saturday morning or sometime, Donovan is going to be the gutter, talking about gutter cleaning and how to scoop crap out of gutters. I mean, I think the last time he said that's, yeah. And then that afternoon, we're going to talk about how to get business. This is probably the hardest part of this business. Anybody can get equipment. Anybody can buy a $25,000, $30,000 rig. Anybody can do that. But what makes people go out of business? Not being able to get customers. So the most important part of a pressure washing business is getting customers. I know people will probably want to argue with me and say the equipment and the employees and all of that BS. At the end of the day, if you can't get employees, you can't, or I'm sorry, if you can't get customers, nobody's going to pay you and you're going to go out of business. That's just the way this baby rolls, you know. You have to be able to get business. So,
washing a house is worth about $15 an hour. Running a house washing business is worth about $400 an hour. There's a big difference there. So Saturday is all going to be about the business side of gutter cleaning, power washing, and Christmas lights, because that's what we're doing on Sunday as well.
And then also on Saturday, we'll be talking about the CRMs and stuff like that and why they're important. And then in the afternoon, we'll be talking about ladder safety, doing some ladder safety, chemical safety, aerial safety. We have an aerial, so you'll be able to make sure you know how to look at, do a checklist to make sure it's working and properly working, nothing's broke down. You do your walk around on it, all of that kind of stuff, what you're supposed to do whenever you're running a lift. And so that will be on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we'll be doing Christmas lights. The Christmas light part is going to be all day Saturday, or Sunday, I'm sorry. And that will entail the whole point of how to install, how to price, how to quote, and all the good things that make a Christmas light successful. You know, Donovan last year was getting $10 and $12 a foot, folks.
Well, I think a lot of folks on your channel, maybe by now they know what we mean by hanging Christmas lights, but we're not talking like you go to Walmart or Home Depot, you get a few lights and you throw them up there on the house in bushes and charge the client a lot of money. Like, we're talking how to start and run a professional grade Christmas light installation, and we personally lease a company. So I learned everything I know from Jason Guyman and a guy called Fred Zimmerman. This is really my second legit year hanging Christmas lights, and we did $250,000 last year in a 6-week time frame hanging lights on people's houses. So we're going over every aspect of professional Christmas lighting service business.
And I know this is something that always gets asked. I can't charge that much in my area. You know, Donovan's average ticket was $2,000. So, you know, it is definitely worth the time of doing Christmas lights. So that will be on Sunday, all day Sunday. So there is only a limited amount of spots, so make sure you get signed up. You can go, like I say, I did pin it at the top, and it's in the description down below. I believe it is kingofpressurewash.com/training dates will get you to where you need to be at. And, you know, what we're talking about here, that 3 days, you know, is $1,200, and it can make you $200,000-$300,000 a year in no problem at the end of the day. Very profitable. You know, I always say, if I go to a training, I want to 10X it. I guarantee you can make $10,000 from that 3-day training. I guarantee it. It takes a little bit of work and a little bit of action, and you can get there. That's just the way it is.
Well, I think another point is, like, you know, we're going to be training 3 different businesses. I mean, you can do that with any one of the businesses or all 3 of them. I mean, what I like doing is combining all 3, because it gives me a premium product for any time of the year. I mean, we got 10,000, I don't know, maybe more, gutter cleaning clients that we clean here in North Carolina. We're cleaning year round. What's my profit on in the 6 weeks? I'll talk about that. So what's my profit for Christmas lights? But, just for gutter cleaning, I mean, gutter cleaning is a real simple thing, but it's also like here's a good point. So, for gutter cleaning, what's my profit on gutter cleaning? Well, what's the average person make cleaning gutters? Well, the average person is a homeowner who goes up there on the weekend and cleans out gutters, right? It's not too complicated. Anybody can do it. But as a service-based business, I mean, if we're just doing gutter cleaning, we can easily do $250,000 a year for a two-man crew, okay? Now, and people talk about, but what's the profit on? You throw out numbers like that, and you always get the little naysayers, and I do say little people because maybe it's a genuine question, but maybe they just can't comprehend that number for two people. Well, and I'll tell you this, between gutter cleaning, power washing, and Christmas lights, two of my guys brought in $500,000 last year, okay? Now, what's my cost? Donovan, what do you pay them? How much did they make? They made $800 a week, okay? Oh my gosh, you're making all this profit. No, I promise you, they got hella good bonuses. Their bonuses were probably more than most people make all year, just in a bonus, okay? But also, there's a ton of business costs. And when you're running a business, okay, you try to maximize those costs so that our new president doesn't take them all in taxes, okay? So what's my profit? For anybody here that's in the comment section and working for the IRS, my profit's zero, a big fat zero. I spent every single dime and put every single penny back in my business. As a matter of fact, I lost money. Okay, so if anybody here is from the IRS, that's what my profit was. Now, for everybody else who can do simple math, profit margin was good.
And it's called, there's a book that I just read, and it's basically
Pumpkin Plan.
No. It's another book that actually talks about how to. I got to pull it up now because it talks about how to live through your business and do it legally and all of that kind of stuff. It's called Tax-Free Wealth, is what it's called.
Yep.
It's a good book.
Yep.
Rich Dad Poor Dad is kind of in it a lot.
Were you watching Robert Kiyosaki? Like I literally, before I started talking to you, I was watching Robert Kiyosaki.
I was not, but I've watched his stuff. But Tax-Free Wealth, and he talks about how to do it with tax-free wealth is and basically how to live through your business and how to live through your business and not pay taxes. And that's what it's, at the end of the day, I mean, I don't want to pay taxes. I mean, I'll pay taxes, but I don't want to pay any more than I have to. I pay, and that's part of being a business.
Do you think people know like the basics of how taxes work, being an employee versus being a business owner?
No, they don't.
Okay, let me go over it real quick. All right, an employee makes $1,000. Where's my hand? Employee makes $1,000 and a business owner makes $1,000. Employee gets 30% taken out of their check. So $300 goes towards the government, and the employee is left with $700. That's what gets put in their hand, $700. They go to buy a phone. The phone costs $700. They give $700 for the phone. Employee's left with $0. Okay? Now, a business owner makes $1,000. Clients pay him directly. The government does not take out their 30%. The business owner needs to buy a $700 phone. Okay? The business owner gives $700 to buy the phone. They have $300 left. Okay? They pay the 30% taxes on the $300. So $100 goes to the government, and the business owner is left with $200 in his pocket. Okay? That's like, for dummies, that's taxes. That's the difference between an employee and a business owner. Employee got a phone and $0. Business owner got a phone and $200. So there are benefits. The tax code was made for business owners. And this is not tax advice. And don't fill out your taxes according to what Donovan said. Go hire a professional. But there are extreme benefits to the tax code. And there are things that you're spending money on right now that are tax write-offs for owning and running a business. The tax code was made for business owners. I don't care who's in office, whether it's a Democrat, a Republican, a socialist, a communist, a Big Bird. I don't care who it is. The tax code is made so that rich people can keep their money and that business owners can keep their money. Right now, the tax code will shift from whatever Trump wanted it to clean energy stuff. So if the tax code was designed to help people who own unit apartment buildings and they get tax discounts for that, maybe that'll now shift over to green energy. So all the rich people will just shift their money somewhere else so that they don't have to pay taxes, and they're going to save 30-40% that employees and income earners are going to have to pay in taxes. Rich people don't pay taxes. So in a nutshell, there you go. You're welcome.
Absolutely. And again, hire a good CPA, not a crappy CPA. Hire a CPA that will stand behind it. Obviously, they have to stand behind you. That sharpens his pencil, because there's some people that they won't allow you to write off anything, and they don't want, they're not going to stand behind it. There is good tax, and even this tax-free wealth book, they have that. The Profit First book, they have all their tax advisors. And a lot of those are the same thing. They will allow you to do that. And this is some things that, you need to talk to a CPA, and not after, if you did business last year, we don't need to be talking to a CPA now. We need to be talking to that CPA in November and December, so that way we are tax planning. And even now, so that way we can tax plan, because if we wait till this year and try to do stuff that we are doing, then it's called tax evasion, and that's something you go to jail over. And who wants to go to jail over bullcrap? Not me.
Not me.
But taxes is very important at the end of the day, guys. This is something that, owning your own business is definitely something that, like Donovan said, that, the wealthy are going to know where they're going to put their money at, so that they don't have to pay taxes. And here's the thing: you can put it in IRAs. You can do things for your future. That way, you don't have to pay taxes on it. There's different things that you can do, so that way you can put it in money. So that way you don't have to pay it right now, and you just push it on down the road when you pull it out later on. Because let's be honest here. Let's get honest on the honest train here. If it's one thing to be making really good money this year, next year, last year, but remember, if you don't want to do this for the rest of your life, then you got to put stuff away, so that way in retirement, so that way you can retire, and you can write a lot of that stuff off. Depending on how old you are, and stuff like that, will determine how much you can put into an IRA and stuff like that. And who wants to work for the rest of their life? I don't.
Some of us will be stuck doing it, but I think a lot of us. Some of us love us. Yeah, no, I can't.
Some of us love doing it. That's the point of
right.
What I was getting at.
Well, I'll always be working, but so I like horses, okay? And there's a difference between going and riding a horse, and you got to train 10 horses today, and after you train them, you got to feed them, and then you got to do 3 lessons after that, and doing all. So there's a big difference between going and riding horses and doing it because you have to earn a buck. So just like what you're doing, if you get to the point where you're successful enough where you can make a YouTube or not make a YouTube video, that's a huge difference than you have to do XYZ so that you can make XYZ income. I mean, there's a huge difference there. So you've set yourself up in a position where you have some options in life, and some of us have to learn the hard way. And, we put ourselves into this corner where we got to work our way out of it regardless of how we're feeling. So I'm looking to learn. That's part of the reason why I am putting on the class, and part of the reason why we're doing it is so that the folks who want to learn can, have access to that. So if they want to grow a big business, you can grow a big business. If you just want to learn some of the hands-on stuff, we'll teach you that too.
Awesome. So hopefully you come to Raleigh in February. It's supposed to be in the 60-degree weather, so you northern folks, it'll be warm down there. Here is only supposed to be in the 30 and 40-degree weather. So definitely check it out. You get to meet Donovan. Donovan is a cool cat. We'll eat dinner together. That's where that's where you'll learn a lot of information. Is eating dinner together, networking with each other, networking what works in your area, what don't work in your area, and stuff like that. So, any last words?
Oh, I got a lot of last words. You sure you want to open that mic up?
Go for
it. I made a ton of mistakes. I made so many mistakes. The biggest thing that helped me was actually realizing I was making mistakes and I didn't know it all. So regardless if you're coming to the class, if you can make it or not, or anything like that, like if I got time to help, I'm more than willing to do that. I'm really good at growing a business from nothing and getting at the first few tiers. I'm pretty good at that. I've done it several times now. And also getting a lot of clients for not spending a lot of money. So getting new clients, I'm pretty good at that. So feel free to reach out to me on my YouTube channel, Gutter Cleaning Contractors. It's a brand new channel. We don't have that many people on there. I have another channel that has thousands of people, but I'm not growing that one anymore. I'm doing it specifically for gutter cleaning contractors because that's what made one of the biggest impacts in my life and my business. So feel free to check that out or reach out to me on Facebook if I got time. I love talking to people if you haven't figured that one out already.
Awesome, guys. Well, I will be back on Sunday or Thursday night next week. If you aren't in my Pressure Wash Help, go join Pressure Wash Help and get 30 days free. I've been doing in my Facebook group every day. I'm in there, going to start teaching more and more and answering questions. And so my goal is to make you guys successful. Go check out kingofpressurewash.com/training dates and sign up, and we'll see you in Raleigh. See ya.